Kazakhstan's largest city of Almaty, where gunmen attacked a police headquarters. I've got her RT correspondent William Whiteman with me now in the studio here to offer some insight on this. I know it's a fluid situation, William. The anti-terror operation is still underway. Can you tell us more?
Well, yes, I mean, just as you were saying, so far the casualty list is that 3 police officers have been killed, 1 civilian has been killed. Several other people have been hospitalized and are in critical condition, obviously, because of the nature of the attack. So what we know is that several armed gunmen opened fire on a police station with fully automatic weapons. Police obviously then returned fire. In an attempt to flee from the scene, the gunman tried to hijack a car, and the man driving the car tried to prevent it. From what we know so far, he was then shot himself and later died. This is the 1 civilian casualty.
Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, has been hit by sporadic fighting between police and opponents of President Erdogan. It comes as the government steps up its crackdown on opposition to the regime following a military coup attempt on Friday. RT's Lizzie Phelan reports.
Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan is euphorious. The failed but bloody coup attempt was a gift from God, he says, a chance for him to purge the military of his opponents.
House collapse. The river dike is breached. Tourists are trapped. Transportation goes dead. Torrential rain all but drowns 5 towns in Hunnan's Gujiang County. Morong is among the worst hit. The town is known for its ethnic Miao culture and is a tourist minority scenic zone. The flood and landslide have destroyed the key building, trapping more than 100 tourists. More than 4 hours later, the head of the scenic zone says all the tourists have been evacuated to safety. Landslides have brought down several sections of a provincial highway. Scattered rocks and stones cut off access. Some railway sections are now useless. Local authorities expect the situation to get worse. Sunday's extreme weather has affected nearly 25,000 people. 69 homes have either collapsed or been damaged. The good news is no deaths have been reported so far. The rescue and relief work has started, but recovery is a long way off. Jane Chow, CCTV.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea has fired off 3 ballistic missiles in what might be a show of force against the decision to deploy an advanced anti-missile system in South Korea. South Korea's military said the missiles were launched from North Hwanghae province and flew some 500 to 600 kilometers towards the Sea of Japan on Tuesday morning. It said the range of what were believed to be Scud missiles is enough to reach all of South Korea. The military also said it's keeping close tabs on the DPRK's movement.
China has announced that it's closing off a part of the South China Sea to conduct a series of military drills this week. Officials say that an area to the southeast of the Hainan Island will be closed until Thursday for Army exercises. No further details have been released about the nature of the maneuvers. The announcement comes days after the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled that China's claims over most of the South China Sea have no legal basis. Beijing rejected the arbitration case and called it unlawful.
Interesting news to report now. Apparently NASA has just spotted what's being called a doomsday hole growing on the sun's surface. Ali Sundermeyer for Business Insider reports that a NASA spacecraft just spotted a giant hole creeping over the surface of the sun. They state it sounds like the recipe for a doomsday blockbuster, but it says here the sun slowly is getting consumed by blackness, throwing our planet into a cold, dark frenzy, but that is not what is happening. They say here this hole is no cause for alarm. It is called a coronal hole, an astronomical phenomenon.
Police have arrested 13 Black Lives Matter protesters.
Officers caught them blocking traffic on I-95. This was the scene during rush hour. They blocked all lanes headed south. First responders arrived to clear the group and get traffic moving again. The demonstrators are facing charges.
Now, it's been just over a week since Black Lives Matter protesters blocked traffic on I-264 in Portsmouth. All lanes were closed at the downtown tunnel while troopers broke up the demonstration. And state police say protesters moved aside in a timely manner when troopers asked, so they did not make any arrests there. Those protests were a response to deadly officer-involved shootings in Baton Rouge, Louisiana and Falcon Heights, Minnesota this month.
Nintendo has a hit on its hands. The wild popularity of augmented reality game Pokemon Go is helping lead Nintendo shares much higher. In fact, on Monday, the stock surged by around 25%, making it the highest one-day gain since around 1983. So, let's talk about this with Mark Spoonhour, the craze that is Pokemon Go. He's the editor-in-chief over at Tom's Guide. So, Mark, why is it so popular? I guess I know that Pokemon is popular. I know that Pikachu is like an iconic figure. What's the game all about?
I think part of the reason why it's so popular is because of the Pokemon franchise, and there's been a big lead up to this game. But it is also, they're folding in augmented reality and the fact that you can catch Pokemon while you're out and about. So you see the real world view overlaid on your camera, and you see these Pokemon around you, and you're able to capture them and then go to different places like landmarks and train them and fight them. So they've done a really clever job of combining the virtual world and the real world.
If you spotted people walking around with their heads in their phone more than usual, you've probably seen people playing the new app, Pokemon Go.
Little Pokemon right there.
Using geolocation, it allows you to capture the Pokemon characters in your own neighborhood. That's what police believe one O'Fallon man was doing when he was the target of thieves early Sunday morning. O'Fallon police say 17-year-old Brett Miller and 18-year-olds Shane Backer and Jameen Warner, as well as a 16-year-old, used the popular virtual reality app to target their victim near Highway K and Feisey Road.
I feel like that's a shame. It's just people taking advantage of a new social media trend.
Police believe the thieves might have used a lure to draw the victim to a location. They robbed him at gunpoint of money and his phone.
Last week, video footage captured tons of Pokemon Go players flooding Central Park in New York City in a rush to catch a rare Pokemon. The commotion has led the NYPD to now release safety guidelines to help gamers avoid potential trouble. On Monday, the official NYPD Twitter uploaded an infographic which addresses Pokemon Go users and shares safety tips while reminding trainers to be alert and to avoid trespassing onto restricted property. The guidelines also remind players to refrain from playing the app while they're driving, something which should be a no-brainer. However, the video taken of last week's Pokemon Go stampede in Central Park showed one or two drivers going so far as to abandon their idling cars.
We have two important medical stories tonight. First, the case of a patient in Utah who contracted the Zika virus. What's interesting is it's not clear how it was transmitted. Dr. John LaPook is looking into this.
Last month, an elderly man died in Utah after contracting Zika outside the United States. A son who helped care for him became infected despite having no recent travel to an area with active Zika and no sexual contact with an infected person. Utah officials say the Aedes mosquitoes that spread the virus have not yet been found in Utah. So far, Zika has been shown to be spread by mosquitoes, sexual contact, and from mother to fetus, where it can cause devastating birth defects. Dr. Denise Jameson of the CDC says health officials are concerned with the possibility that infection was spread by close contact with body fluids.
Based on this new information today, it's very important that people who are caring for critically ill patients avoid body fluids and carefully wash their hands after contact with critically ill patients.
On Monday, July 18th, 2016. And I've got you here on Earthquake 3D, showing you the most recent earthquakes. And in case you are just now tuning in, I know there's not very many people in the chat room right now, but on the East Coast, a very rare 4.3 earthquake struck. This is the largest earthquake to strike on the East Coast in the last 5 years.
We cut to the chase. Is she personally prepared to authorize a nuclear strike that could kill 100,000 innocent men, women, and children?
Yes.
Kazakhstan's largest city of Almaty, where gunmen attacked a police headquarters. I've got her RT correspondent William Whiteman with me now in the studio here to offer some insight on this. I know it's a developing, fluid situation, William. The anti-terror operation is still underway. Can you tell us more?
Well, yes. I mean, just as you were saying, so far the casualty list is that 3 police officers have been killed, 1 civilian has been killed. Several other people have been hospitalised and are in critical condition, obviously, because of the nature of the attack. So what we know is that several armed gunmen opened fire on a police station with fully automatic weapons. Police obviously then returned fire in an...